Hello and welcome to today's YouTube episode. On today's sewing adventure, I'm going to be taking you through the process of making the Closet Core ginger jeans. Fingers crossed it all works out. Let's get started. So as you can see, I'm actually sitting in front of my ironing board and I have got all of the things ready for the ginger jeans, ready to go, cut out, and threads and needles and all the things that you need to make jeans in front of me. So I'll get onto that in a minute. But before we get onto that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm making the ginger jeans, because I have made the Megan Nielsen Ash jeans and the Merchant & Mills Heroine jeans before. And the thing that drew me into the ginger jeans is that they have this low rise option. So if you make option A, then it isn't a high-waisted jean, whereas the Ash and the Heroine jeans are both high-waisted. And I wanted to try that because when I have bought jeans in the past, they have often been a lower rise. And I have found that suits my shape more. I feel more comfortable in them. And I do like wearing the high-waisted jeans, and I have got used to them, but I thought if I could make the ginger jeans and they worked out and they were low rise, then that might be a really good thing for me to try to do. So I bought some stretch denim from Fabric Godmother, and I've cut out all of the pieces for the ginger jeans. They are all here in front of me. And what I thought I would do is I've got this pair of ready-to-wear jeans here. These are a pair of jeans that a friend actually gave to me because she didn't want them anymore. So they're not, I didn't buy them new. I think I've had them for maybe 4 years, but I really like them for dog walking because, you know, they're not new. So you kind of feel like if they get a bit muddy or, you know, a bit, I do wear them a lot, then it's not the end of the world. I actually do think I need to do a mend on this inside seam here. You can see that it's starting to kind of come away. But the person who gave me these jeans had them for a long time before I did, so that is understandable. They won't last forever. So what I thought I would do is I would take the front piece, which I've got here, and kind of compare the rise of the jeans. So to see how it would compare to what I've got here. So if I put that there, and remember we've got to have a seam allowance, we will try that again. So if I put that pattern piece over the jeans, can you see that? It's actually a little bit shorter than these ones. So that will be interesting because obviously once the seam allowance comes out, you can see that it's going to be shorter, and then obviously the seam allowance will come out to attach the waistband here as well. So for my first pair of ginger jeans, I didn't want to make any alterations. I'm making a size 10 at the waist, and then I've graded it out to a size 12 at the hips. So we will see how that goes. It is stretch denim, so the finished garment measurements are pretty much the same as your body measurements, but it is a nice lightweight stretch denim, so that will be good. One thing I'm a bit I've been thinking about a little bit is the waistband. If I can find it, I'll show it to you. It's not very curved, so I wonder that, I have cut it, but I wonder if when it comes to, that's it in half, cut it on the fold. I'm wondering when it comes to doing this piece if I will have to kind of recut it. I do have enough left over to recut that piece and kind of make it more curved, because I know that with the Heroine jeans it is a straight waistband and that did not really work for my shape at all. But we'll see how we go. As I said, I'm not making any alterations to begin with. I'm just going straight in making these, and I just want to see how I get on. I have chosen this really cute fabric. It's a little Liberty print with ditzy flowers on for the pocket bags. So that will make them a little bit, kind of have a little bit more of a kind of different feature there as well, so that should be lovely. So in terms of supplies for my jeans making, I am making the jeans out of the Aurifil threads. These threads have been gifted to me. I'm doing the construction of the jeans in this blue colour. This is the 40 bar 3 weight. I'll put all of the details of these in the descriptions box below. I'm going to be doing the top stitching traditional jeans colour, so I've got a 12 weight thread here for the top stitching, and then I've got the matching thread for the underneath top stitching, and that is a 40 bar 2 weight, so slightly thinner than the 40 bar 3. I also have ordered, only because I had run out, some new needles for the denim needles to make these jeans, and I've also am going to be putting on the butt pocket or the bottom pocket a Kylie in the Machine You Can't Buy This label as well. So I've got all the supplies ready to go. It's all cut. Basically just have to start making them now, so that will be exciting. And as I said, I'll be sharing that process with you. I'll be sharing the bits that go well and sharing the bits that I have to change if there are any that I need to change, and I'll let you know how I get on. So I won't be taking you through the whole process. I will be showing you parts of the process, otherwise it will just end up being a bit too long, but I will be showing you the bits that I think are important and the bits that I think are interesting. So we'll see how we get on with that, and I'm going to make a start. It says to start by adding interfacing to the pockets and the fly pieces, so I'm going to crack on with that. So I now have back pockets, but we're not going to be using them for a little while. So the top stitching there, I made the top stitching length 3mm rather than usual 2.5. I think that's worked really nicely. I have these pocket facing pieces now. This one's obviously got the coin pocket, this one doesn't. And I've got belt loops all ready to go. So yep, as I said, I'll keep you updated and we'll see how we get on. So just a super quick check-in, I have made both of the pockets. You can see there's the little coin pocket inside here. So this is different to a fly construction that I have done before. The other jeans are quite different to this. So what they're asking is that, and I've drawn in a chalk line, what they're asking is that we stitch down the chalk line at a long stitch length. When I get to this pink pin, I'm going to do a couple of back stitches and then change to normal stitch length till I get to the bottom. So that is what I'm going to do next. And then I am going to have to follow the rest of the instructions, but I'm sure it will all be fine. The instructions are very clear. I haven't pre-read them, but I can just read them as I go. And obviously I'll show you the process of this. Will be the main process that I show, to be honest. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it turns out into a nice fly. Okay, I am here now. What I ended up doing was sewing those seams together. So there's a 5 stitch length here. I reversed and kind of back tacked here, and then did a 2.5 stitch length underneath. Then you cut into the notch, open it up, and I have done 2 rows of top stitching on that on the left of the jeans is what it says to do. So we've got, obviously this is pressed open now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the zip. It says to add the zip, and it doesn't matter if the zip is too long. Now this is the shortest zip that I could buy. It is a really nice quality one. Where I was shopping, I did shopping, this was the shortest zip I could find for jeans. You might be able to find some more somewhere else, but what it's suggesting is that we pin this. This can be no longer than 2 centimeters from the bottom, so I suppose I could squish it down a bit more. And then you want to line the zipper tape up with the center seam of the jeans. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to put a pin in, and then I'm going to sew just through the one layer. So let's see how we get on. So as you can see, oh, I need to trim that thread, but as you can see, I have done that line of top stitching. The zip is facing down, What I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip the zip like this and do a line of top stitching down here, close to the zip edge. And then I believe what happens is it gets flipped and then the zip will be facing the front. So I'm assuming that then we do like a top stitch for the fly here, but I haven't read on, so getting a bit ahead of myself. We'll see what happens. Next step is to do the top stitch here. So I am at that really fun stage of the jeans where you have to alternate the construction thread and the top stitching thread kind of every time you sew something. But that's okay, it doesn't take too long. So basically what I've done is I have done that top stitch there. This is the center seam. So what I'm going to do now is the instructions tell me to fold this way, and I'm going to pin onto here. Oop. And I'm going to make sure it's flat afterwards. I'm going to pin onto here, and then what you do is you actually just sew you sew 2 lines of stitching on this side of the zipper tape, but on the fly extension, not on the front of the jeans. So just literally through that section, just down on the left. So that is the next step. So you can see there are those 2 lines of stitching just through the fly guard. And if I turn it over to the front, it's looking very, very flat. So the next thing I have to do is take this little piece, and this is a guide for the fly top stitching. So I shall draw a chalk line around that and then top stitch, and that I think will end up looking really lovely. Now, I did see a hack recently on, I think it was an Instagram reel that I saw it on, and what you do is you take your lint roller and you cut the same shape as the top stitching guide in the lint roller so it's sticky. And then what you do is you put it down on your jeans, and then you can actually use that as a guide for top stitching. So I'm actually going to give that a go, and I could have chalked it, but I think that we'll just see how it goes. And I have done my row of top stitching, and that was actually really, really good. The pattern does suggest to do 2 rows of top stitching, but I find that most of the jeans I make only have 1 because I always mess up the second row and end up having to unpick it. And I feel like I'm happy with just 1. It's not going to be that, I mean, it is right at the front, but I mean, who's really going to look at your fly? And again, the other reason why I don't want to do another one on the outside is because I have only just caught in this part of the fly on that first side. If I do another line, it's not even going to provide any like structural support for the fly construction anyway. So I'm happy just with 1, and I'm really pleased with the way it's gone in, and basically I don't want to spoil it by doing another one and having it look really, really messy. Now this is the super interesting bit, because what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to remove those stitches. Remember how the first thing you do is you base the center seam. So this is kind of our first sneaky peek or little snippet at seeing what the fly will look like when it's finished. So there we go. It's very, very neat, and actually, obviously I'll tidy up these threads in a minute. It's very neat, and it looks really great. So obviously once the waistband goes on, then that will kind of conceal that. But I'm super pleased with how that has come out, and it really wasn't that difficult. I hope you were able to follow along with it. I didn't find it that difficult. I'm sure that with a bit of time and patience and maybe practicing around first, I'm sure that is quite an achievable thing to do. And it's not even finished because I completely forgot that we had to put the fly shield on. So I will show you how we do that as well. Okay, here's the fly extension. You fold it in half, do a line of stitching. I've trimmed it down. We're going to turn it, yep, so we sew it wrong sides up, right sides together so we can turn it right sides out. It says to line up the folded edge. So obviously this is not the folded edge, that's our raw edges. The folded edge of to line it up with that line of finished edge, so with that line of overlocking, and then we're going to pin just through the fly shield. Just pinning through the fly shield, just through the fly shield on this side, just through the fly extension rather. Yeah, so we do have a bit of yeah, so we do have to, we've got a very short kind of allowance here, but that's fine, we can make that work. And yeah, I will be sewing from this side, so it makes sense to actually pin it from that side, doesn't it, rather than the other side. So that is where we should be pinning, and it's still all lined up if we flip it over. So now the fly is complete because it's got that fly shield at the back. So there we go, fly shield. What you do with the fly shield is you bar tack it. So there's bar tack here and a bar tack here. I'll quickly close it, and this is what it looks like from the other side. I've just serged down here, so just overlock that edge. You can apply bias binding there, but it's just quicker to do that. And obviously you can see the bar tacks are just holding that in place. So it is actually done now, there's no more steps. So I can move on to doing the rest of the jeans. Okay, so I've done the front is here, it's all assembled and ready to go. I have also put the yoke on the back, and I have put the pockets in. I've got my little "you can't buy this" tag there as well. So the backs are ready to attach. And then basically I will be assembling the jeans and being able to try them on. So I think the next time I come back, I will be trying the jeans on. They won't have a waistband, but I will get a little bit of an insight as to how they are going to fit. Okay, so here are the jeans. This is where I'm at. I'm having my first try on. I think they look good from the front. Perhaps they are a little bit lower than I would have liked. But the waistband is yet to go on, so we'll see how they go. They're very comfortable, the stretch is great. I think they're a bit loose. I have only just basted them together. I haven't, I've basted them at a 4.5 stitch length. I have not sewn them or top stitched them or anything like that. So the inseam and the side seams are not like too difficult. They're very easy to unpick. In terms of around the back, you can see that I have top stitch the yoke, but it's really quite gappy there. So what I'm thinking is I might have to unpick that bit and go in and kind of take a little bit off there. So I'm not sure what that means for the waistband, but I'll have to kind of think about that when that comes. But on whole, I'm really actually quite pleased with how they've come together. Hasn't been too difficult. I like the way that they look. I will bring them in. I think they're a bit too, like there's, like you can see, I can get like, how much? Almost an inch off that. So I will definitely be taking them in at the sides, and I think in this inseam as well. But generally, really pleased. So I'm going to go make some tweaks and then come back and show you kind of what I've done and how that has worked out. Okay, so this is where I'm at. I've made those adjustments. I've actually taken quite a lot off the side seams. I've taken some from the inner seams, but I'm really happy with the way that they fit now across the leg. The back is fitting much better as well. I've had to take, I can show you some pictures, I'll put some pictures on the screen for you, but I've had to take quite a lot in off that bit there. I know that that's not matching, but obviously I wanted to just make sure how much I needed to take off before I did the top stitching and made it like look much better. So yeah, overall really pleased with how they're going now. Super happy with them. As I said, I don't know what all those adjustments mean for the waistband, and I'm not sure. Remember, the waistband wasn't very curved, so we'll have to see how that goes when we get to it. But generally really pleased with where I'm at the moment, and they're very comfortable. The stretch in them is great, so I could see myself wearing these really often. Actually, they're very nice. So yeah, success. So that success was a good few days ago, maybe over a week ago, and I can tell you that it was successful at that point, and then it took a great big downward spiral after that, and I ended up doing 4 waistbands because the first 3 didn't work. So I'm going to talk you through that process. It was fine. It just took a little bit longer than I thought, and I like things to go quickly. I can confirm with you that the final jeans are amazing. They fit really, really well, and I'm super pleased with how they have turned out. The waistband is really lovely. I have used the Pigeon Wishes button in the front there. The belt loops are all attached. I ended up putting this little Rosy Cheeks label in the back, so it's got a label on the back pocket and on the inside waistband as well, and I did get them to fit, but I do have a little bit of explaining to do. I think I have a sway back, and where the other jeans that I've made, the Ash jeans and the Heroine jeans, they've both been high-waisted, so because it sits up high around my waist, I don't think that the sway back kind of plays a part in that. And I did say all along that the straightness of that waistband was a little bit of a concern to me, because I just didn't think it would work, but I wanted to try it just to see how it went, because it might have worked, and it's what the pattern recommended. So I have down here the 3 waistbands that I cut out and used to show you the kind of process, and I've taken photos of them as well as I have gone along. So I'll quickly talk you through what I did, and then that will be the end of this clip. So this was the first waistband that I put on. And as you can see, it's a little bit curved. This is the one that the pattern recommends, but it's not very curved at all. And you should be able to see a photo of it on the screen of how it looked on my back. It was quite gappy by maybe about, I could pull in an inch off it. So what I did then was what I'd done before, because I remember with the Heroine jeans, I just used the Ash jeans waistband. So this was the second, which one is it? This was the second waistband I used. So you can see that there is much more of a curve on that, and this is the Megan Nielsen Ash jeans waistband that for this one, but it still wasn't right. It still had a really big gap in the back, and I was thinking how I could make it work. So I did something a bit ridiculous, and because this is kind of the shape that I thought that I needed, so I actually did cut this waistband and put it on. So this was waistband number 3. And the good thing about it was that this V shape actually fitted in where the gapping was in my back, but it was still a little bit straight at the sides. So I don't have a template to show you of the final waistband, but what I ended up doing was I ended up softening that curve, because as you can see, that is a bit exaggerated. It's basically a V. I ended up softening that curve and making it slightly more curved around the sides of the waist as well. And I'm really pleased because it has actually worked really, really nicely, and they fit well. So I got there in the end. So it was a success. I am pleased with them. They are not as low-waisted as I thought they would be. I think these would be a really good pair of jeans for this summer because they are very stretchy, they're very comfortable. They are not, usually when I make jeans, obviously the Heroine jeans are different, but when I make stretch jeans I make them really fitted through the leg all the way down to the ankle, but these ones have a bit more room down, so they're a bit of a different style. And just because they're not quite so high-waisted, like it's nice in winter when you have something high-waisted, you can tuck your layers into there because they come up nice and high and keep you really warm. So I'm thinking that these would be a good pair of jeans for summer for those reasons, because I've got slightly more kind of air at the lower leg and they're lower waisted as well. But really, really pleased with them and really happy with how they've turned out. So my overall experience making the ginger jeans has been great. I've really enjoyed it. I have had to push myself a little bit with the waistband. It was a little bit out of my comfort zone to kind of draft those waistbands and make them fit, but I'm really pleased because I managed to do it and I managed to get a really nice fit in the end. So I'm super pleased with that. And I can see myself wearing these jeans a lot. So that is really, really good. So one final thing before I go. Remember at the beginning of this episode, I showed my dog walking jeans. And I said that they needed a little bit of love and a little bit of repair. So what I've done, and it's been really exciting, is I've actually started doing a little sashiko project on the inner leg where that kind of wear had begun. So I've started to do that. So I really hope to in the future to do a YouTube clip of upcycling and maybe mending as well. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then that's fantastic. And I am in the process of I am in the process of filming a YouTube reel for how to do the sashiko as well. So super pleased with how that's turned out. I'll show you what I've done. I've only done one of the inner legs, and I am going to extend it because you can see it's quite abrupt with where it ends. So I will be extending it up around the pocket. And it has actually really strengthened the fabric. What I've done is I have ironed on a patch of cotton fabric on the inside. But as I said, I am creating a reel about how to do that, and in the future I would like to share my upcycling projects with you all as well. So I hope that's something that you'd be interested in because I do have quite a few. So that is it for today's YouTube episode. I hope you enjoyed the sew along of the ginger jeans. I really enjoyed making them. I know I had the trouble with the waistband, and there was a little bit of adjustment in terms of making them a bit smaller as well. But overall, I had a really lovely time making them, and I'm really pleased that I have them in my wardrobe. I can see myself wearing them a lot. It was a bit of a longer one today, so if you've made it to the end, then thank you very much for staying with me. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you thought in the comments box below. I love hearing what you've got to say, and all of your comments really mean a lot to me. If you could like this clip, I would really appreciate that. If you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would appreciate that as well. It's really lovely to have you all here regularly and to follow me along my sewing journey. I hope you have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you, and I will see you here again soon.